Thank you very much. The Program Director, Honorable Minister of Higher Education and Training, Ms. Naledi Pandor, Director Generals and DDGs present or in absentia, FP&M Seta board members, FP&M Seta stakeholders, distinguished guests, our VIP guests for this morning, learners and educators from the various schools, ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you all. It gives me pleasure to welcome you to the third annual Fiber Processing and Manufacturing Sector Education and Training Authority Career and Skills Development Summit. A warm welcome is extended to all of you. I am extremely delighted to have present with us this morning our very special guest, the Honorable Minister of Higher Education and Training. Honorable Minister, we are pleased that you have taken time out from your very hectic schedule to be with us this morning. It is really much appreciated. Please, a special round of applause for our great Minister, the Minister of Higher Education and Training. Thank you, Minister. Thank you very much. It is indeed an honor to be part of this well-organized and highly successful event, yet for another year. I would like to thank Cape Media for partnering with the Fiber Processing and Sector Education Authority in ensuring that the outcomes of this event are achieved. And indeed, we can all agree, at the end of this event, it was mission accomplished. I would also like to acknowledge our former CEO, Ms. Faleng Yende, who conceived this concept of the Skills Summit and project of staging the Skills Summit for the FP&M sector in order to address a core objective of the National Skills Development Strategy, and that's a new word for our learners, National Skills Development Strategy, which is to promote career and vocational guidance. It is through gatherings like these that we are afforded the opportunity to benchmark the effectiveness in the delivery of our mandate, and we can revisit and refocus our efforts where necessary. The event has the potential to elevate level of engagement of the role of Setas in skills development and allow the FP&M Seta to showcase some of its successful projects, which you'll see out there in the exhibition, through inviting stakeholders to share their best practices in education and training with delegates. And you'll see that throughout the course of the day, we have a number of speakers that are going to obviously appraise you of the various occupations that you will be exposed to. It must also be noted that another objective of the Skills Summit is that it raises the quality of education and training standards and promotes continuous professional development within our organizations. I just want to share with you what the FP&M Seta now is all about. The FP&M Seta is comprised of 13 subsectors. We have the clothing, footwear, forestry, furniture, general goods, leather, packaging, printing, print media, publishing, pulp and paper, textiles, and wood product sectors. So we have some of our most vulnerable sectors which you would have heard about on television and in the newspapers. The FP&M Seta was established by the Department of Higher Education in 2011 with the purpose of integrating sectors in order to strengthen value chain linkages between related industries. And just to explain to our learners and to our employees and other stakeholders what this is all about and its alignment to government strategy. So as a Seta, our strategy is informed by the National Skills Development Strategy and key national government strategies and priorities such as the National Development Plan, many of you must have heard of the NDP, and the medium-term strategic priorities of government. The National Skills Development Strategy challenges all of us to understand the labor market issues in our respective industrial and economic subsectors. Actually, FP&M Seta, we conduct research on a continuous basis to update the Seta's repository relating to sector knowledge, industry strategy, and our occupations in demand. And you will hear that term, occupations in demand, throughout the 2 days when speakers address you. The FP&M Seta is responsible, and what do Setas do? I know lots of learners, lots of people don't understand the responsibilities, the mandate, and the work of Setas. So what do Setas do? The FP&M Seta is responsible for the implementation of a sector skills development strategy for the FP&M sector as a whole. We are responsible for the provision of skills development services to the sector, including we have what is known as the disbursement of mandatory grants linked to workplace skills training. All right? So many of you learners, you must be aware that education can also be accessed through workplaces. Disbursement of discretionary grants for the implementation of learning programs and sector-specific projects. Quality assurance of the learning provisioning. So what you are able to achieve through workplaces is what is known as national qualifications that are registered with SAQA, that are benchmarked locally and internationally. And obviously all of those programs that you are able to access are mainly known as occupationally directed programs. And we're also responsible for the facilitation of programs and projects to ensure that people employed or wanting to be employed in the sector obtain the scarce and critical skills. So when we talk about scarce and critical skills, if you want a job in this country, now that's a direction that you need to be studying in, because that is where you'll be able to be getting future employment. Overall, the FP&M Seta is on an increasingly positive trajectory, meaning upward trajectory, since its establishment. The Seta, through focused and effective leadership, improved the Seta's audited performance from 49% in 2011 to 91.67%, almost 92% in the last financial year. And I'm very proud also to announce that we have achieved 100% achievement against the Department of Higher Education and Training pivotal targets. And for this, once again, we are highly indebted to the former CEO, who's not present here today, Ms. Feleng Yende. We implemented a very successful business model. We need leadership like that to come up with business models to turn around organizations. So it's very critical that we've got good leadership in this country, and I think we are proudly led by an excellent example in the Minister of Higher Education and Training. As a Seta, we have aligned our strategy to the Job Summit outcomes, and we're also fully committed to implementation of the training layoff scheme that we have for retrenched workers. We're also fully supporting the Yes campaign of our Honorable President. So we're ensuring that our TFET and HET graduates are placed in a workshop or internship program, and they also get employment post their training. I just want to announce a few statistics about Setas so that, as urged by the Honorable Minister, learners, you've got to know about Setas, you've got to know about the work that they do. They can access grant and funding for you. Our last impact study has confirmed that most of our organizations are placing learners in jobs, opportunities post-training. We are saying on average, 57% of our learners completing the skills programs, internships, and apprenticeships are placed on work placement opportunities post-training, but this is higher, very much higher for learnerships, whilst our absorption rate on learnerships is 75%. The FP&M Seta, as in the recent financial year, supported higher-level strategic, transformative, and innovative projects to address, obviously, key government priorities. Our projects address rural development, women, disability, SMME development. Some of the examples being, we recently completed the construction of the Richmond Indaleni Community Skills Development Center. It was one of our major projects. It was deep rural. The core objectives was to address rural development, poverty alleviation, and also to look at unemployment, because we have realized that youth unemployment is very, very much high. It's, upward in the 30% and above when we look at youth unemployment specifically. Another of our programs, very successful projects that we have run, the International Leadership Development Program. Here we have taken learners from within our sector. Some of them are like middle managers within our sector. We took them overseas. We said, no, we want the best practices in world-class manufacturing to be brought back and to be implemented in our workplaces. So we looked at benchmarking both locally and internationally in terms of the International Leadership Development Program. I'm sure many of you have seen the intern by David Tlale, where we've exposed the fashion industry within our subsector. We also have the WITS Real. Lots of our interventions are informed and underpinned by research. So we have the strategic research partnership with WITS University. And if you meet some of our board members or if they have the opportunity to address you here today, they will talk about the QCTO Qualifications Development Projects, a very important project because those are related to occupational programs. And in skills development, it's important for us to make a case for occupational development programs. Like we talk about learnerships, we talk about apprenticeships. These are technically related and they lead to direct jobs. That's what the beauty about these programs are. All right? Post-training, you obtain the technical skills and it leads to a job. So it's important that some of our learners know about, the occupational programs. I know my parents, when I was in school, they wanted me to go to a higher education institution immediately to study. But today we are fortunate, we've got very clever, very intelligent ministers, and they have introduced what is known as the skills development strategy to support our learners and to ensure that we resolve issues such as unemployment within the country. So in order to ensure that our youth make the best of the next stage of their career path, we chose to host the crucial Skills Development Expo in October. I just need to briefly reflect on some concerning statistics which learners need to know about. Unemployment remains at a staggering 27.7%. It's quite alarming indeed. And the youth aged between 15 to 34 remain very vulnerable in the labor market. And their unemployment rate amongst youth, and I've got a statistic for you, it's around 38.6%. Thank you very much for the cue. What is exciting and innovative about this year's skills program is that we have invited our learners once again, TFET colleges. What we are saying is that over the next 2 days, anything between 800 to 1,000 learners will be exposed to career exhibitions hosted mainly by employers and higher education institutions and our TFET colleges. So I urge learners and guests to please visit the various exhibitions and stands. Another exciting element of the Skills Summit is that it poses an ideal opportunity for employers to respond to commitments to work-integrated learning opportunities for TFET and university graduates. The Department of Higher Education and Training mantra, they have been leading the campaign. What they have been telling us is that we need to ensure that we are turning every workplace into a training space, calling for both the private and the public sectors to open up spaces for placement of our graduates. We hope that this platform achieves this very critical outcome. And without further ado, and I don't want to take up much of your time, we have a very loaded program for the next 2 days. I just want to wish everyone a very successful Skills Summit. I thank you. I thank the Honorable Minister for her presence. And tomorrow we are also blessed with the presence of the Honorable Deputy Minister. Thank you also to the DDG. Keep well.